Welcome back. It's kind of been a minute, but today I have some cool stuff to show off from my Mass Effect mod. I've got a decent bit of the core stuff down for the mod, so I thought it could use some enemies to shoot at. Now, what I'm mostly going to focus on at first is going to be the Geth and Reaper enemies you would see in Mass Effect 1. That being said, I'll most likely get around to the crazier enemies down the road. Starting off will be the standard Geth unit that'll take the role of a mid-tier elite-like enemy. You might notice, but I ended up throwing them onto the Reach Elite's rig for animations, but for a very good reason. If you didn't know, a lot of bipedal characters in Mass Effect all share the same rig, I assume to make it easier to animate a bunch of actions. The downside of this is that the Geth units just didn't have a lot of animations compared to the amount of character animations in Halo. I think they still look pretty good with Elite animations anyways, but you'll see Mass Effect animations ported over for the non-bipedal enemies, or enemies that have specialized animations. Next up is the Geth drone that you'll definitely remember from the first Mass Effect game. This is going to be kind of a fodder enemy, but I wanted to fill that flyer role and gave it shields to compensate for its low health. Speaking of fodder, I also ported over the Reaper Husk that will rush you down with melee attacks. These are intended to be a grunt type rank for the mod, so you'll see handfuls of them being watched over by a couple Geth units. I am thinking about having their explosive variants in the mod as well, so I'll have to come up with an armor ability that lets them detonate themselves on the player. Finally, for enemies in the mod so far, is the Geth Armature. Now, it's a little bigger than it was in the game, but that's mostly because I wanted to combine the Colossus and Armature together to save for tag space in the mod. If you couldn't tell, this will be a heavily armored unit akin to hunters in Halo. Their primary weapon is a modest homing rocket, but every now and then they'll enter a siege mode and lob an energy mortar that does a bit more damage. They won't be entirely unstoppable though. If you can get close enough, you can shoot under their hull to do a bit more damage, or try and shoot their glowing eye. Be careful though, because unlike in Mass Effect, I decided to give them a front and back melee if you get too close. I hope you've enjoyed this look at enemies so far. I plan to have a more multiplayer focused overview type video out soon, so stay tuned for that. That being said, make sure you join up in the Discord or consider becoming a Patreon member to show a little extra support. Both are always appreciated. But anyways, I appreciate you watching this far, and I'll see you later.